Welcome to the BioStock studio in Lund. Today I'm joined by Kristofer Cook, CEO of the food tech company Carbiotix. Welcome, Kristofer.
Thank you, Martin. It's always a pleasure to be here, and especially nice to be in person.
Yeah.
Given that most interviews are given via Zoom or Teams these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Food tech, is that an accurate label of Carbiotix?
I think it is, and I think that if you take a step back and look at those trends that are going to sort of emerge from this pandemic, I think that entertainment and travel are going to be winners going forward. And I think health is going to be a big winner. And if we look at health, and in that context, what you're seeing is a natural convergence of food tech and pharma. And at the center of that convergence is the microbiome. It's these 30 billion bacteria that are sitting in your gastrointestinal system. And we know now, and recent research is supporting this as well, that there's a link between gut health and immune system integrity. But we know it goes beyond that as well. Mineral absorption, cholesterol regulation, blood sugar regulation, the risk of developing different metabolic and chronic diseases. And the center of the microbiome discussion is how do you modulate it? And there are different ways. You know, there's synthetic biology and biophagia is more on the therapeutic side. But definitely within the food and supplement realm, there are two ways. And probiotics, which is a very big market today. It's a 50 billion euro market today. And there what we're trying to do is introduce around 30 industrial strains to compensate for a decrease in diversity, where you naturally have between 500 and 1,000 different strains. But at the heart of the microbiome are these indigestible carbohydrates, the prebiotics, and they're food for your own bacteria. And we know that it's those prebiotics that are driving the growth of these key metabolites, carbohydrate fermentation, and not the production of these toxic metabolites that lead to these problems I discussed. So the companies that are going to be most successful in this space, again, this convergence of health, food tech and pharma, are the companies that produce the best prebiotics and can measure the effect of these prebiotics. And what is Carbiotix? It's a company that is producing this Access prebiotic that is up to 10 times better than at-market prebiotics. It's a company that has also developed a diagnostic system to validate the efficacy of those products and in the future personalize these products as well. So Carbiotix is, yes, a food tech company. It's a life science company, but it's a company that's based on not speculation. It's based on fact and first principles, which bodes well for a 5 to 10 year horizon in terms of building up this new way of looking at food and pharma.
Oh. And this in December you announced that you were planning to start your first large-scale production of these fibers. Can you tell us more about those plans?
Yeah, this is a first critical step moving towards being a manufacturing company. And this is fundamentally about control. It's about control of our destiny going forward, control of the scale-up of our product, how we sell the product into the marketplace, how much gross margin we can capture from this product. The learnings of this initial scale-up are critical to further expand that particular site as well as sites in different parts of the world. And I think that this process will pay dividends, not only in the short term, but also looking 3, 5, 8, 10 years out in the company as we become a manufacturing company. And it's fundamentally the difference between being a company that decides to license its technology and give away 95% of the gross margin, or saying, no, we're going to invest in this now and we're going to capture that margin as time goes by. And that will reflect in the share price in the long run as well.
Yeah, interesting. Another news that we've picked up is that the fact that you've been accepted in the PepsiCo greenhouse Accelerator program.
Yes.
What's that?
This is obviously something I applied to. I saw the opportunity come up, and we were selected among 200 companies globally. And fantastic honor. We had the kickoff last week, And the mentors that have been allotted to us, great. So inroads into both snacks and drinks into the company, both from a product positioning or brand standpoint, but also an R&D formulation side. Extremely well thought through, and top management commitment definitely from the kickoff event with the president of snacks joining and head scientific officer. My ambition with this particular accelerator is to do what I do with all companies we interact with. It's the long term. In this particular case, it's about introducing and leveraging our diagnostic platform. So the Linka concept and the One Gut platform, and building that up within PepsiCo, focusing on maybe gut health related brands initially. But a company like that, to be competitive going forward, and they are committed to go through this transition, is about looking at all their products and the opportunities to remove trans fats and sugars in these products and make them more healthy. This is the concept. So I think that the true value of that relationship will come beyond the 6-month accelerator. It's establishing the relationships, it's starting the process of formulation work, and then getting our access material or ingredient into some of these products, and using that as a sort of a foundation to further expand the exposure to Access as a premier prebiotic fiber, not only to potentially substitute the use of other prebiotics, but also act as a complementary prebiotics to be used with others as well.
So this is a 6 months program in the first place, and then you...
Yeah, I see this as multi-year. This is a door opener, right?
Yeah, great to hear. And speaking of markets, in order to get in the market, you need to be approved by regulatory authorities.
Yeah.
And you have a process going.
Yes.
Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, my position is always as soon as possible, and we're working very hard to get that in place. At the same time, learning about the regulatory process and to become more efficient for subsequent submissions in the US, for example, no objection, which is sort of the gold standard for a lot of these larger companies, and as well novel foods applications, which will come after this initial application. I think that from my perspective, Access as an ingredient is produced from a natural material in an enzymatic and chemical process, and there is no safety issue with this particular material. So from my perspective, this is a process we're going through. So it's not an if, it's a when. And the when is important for me to make sure that is in place when we have production capacity, so we can leverage that to generate value through sales. This is the fundamental chain that we have to have in place. So easy answer, ongoing, as soon as possible. I'm pushing it as hard as possible for this as well. But I think the takeaway from my perspective is, as soon as you involve third parties into any type of development process, be it a consultant or regulatory body or a body doing even clinical work and these types of validation exercises, is one has to be careful. And then you have these external factors such as a global pandemic, which always shake things up even more. So the lesson is be aggressive, start early, and work very hard to get these things in place. So it's ongoing, and we're definitely using the learnings of this particular process to make more efficient subsequent submissions. And again, I'm not going to communicate timelines for these. It'll be as soon as possible, because when they're in place, we can capture more market opportunities through selling our products and fulfilling these gold standard regulations, such as no objection, FDA no objection in the US, and then novel foods in Europe.
Yeah. So timing is always difficult in these cases.
Yep.
So if investors have additional questions, you're the one to address in the Carbiotix organization.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the person to speak with. Within the topic of investors, I'm extremely pleased to see the development over the past 6 months. I think if you use Avanza investors as a proxy to the investor base in Carbiotix, I think the number of investors have more than doubled, which is great. Every investor is an ambassador for the company. It's my responsibility to educate these investors, and the more they know, the better they are as ambassadors for the company as well. And hopefully they have a position which is long in the company as well, because the true value in this company, because we're moving towards a manufacturing entity, is in a 5 to 10 year range. That's where the true value materializes. So any investor who wants to do an analysis or look into further information or find something and wants to validate it, they're most welcome to contact me. It's better that they get a better understanding of that information, its relevance, the context of it, and then they hopefully can communicate it to others as well.
Yeah. Final question, Kristofer. What's on top of your priority list right now, short term?
Regs. Getting the regs in place. Obviously, the scale-up is definitely important. And in a company, you only go through this once. So you have to cherish the moment as well. Learn as much as possible. And from our perspective, I think we did a good job in going through this transformation, as I communicated earlier last year. And this is the inflection year. And we're starting to see the traction, and it's growing, and getting these, the one gut, link gut partners in place. And API will materialize in Q2, and that will certainly drive volume on the diagnostic side. And obviously the F&B companies with PepsiCo and the Kellogg Amwell, that's going to drive further interest on the F&B side as well. So sales is always a priority, but getting these fundamental aspects in place, so the reg and our first production facility in place to provide samples for formulation work, and then start sales as well. My ambition is to start sales ASAP off the grass, self-affirmation. And I usually don't fail. Things may take a bit longer in Musk style, but not succeeding is not an option in this case. So it's really about getting the fundamentals in place and then driving forward as quickly as possible, learning as much as we can along the way, and being very aggressive with the scale-up as well, because the scale-up is the value driver in the company. With every ton of capacity we add, it adds value going forward to obviously sales, but it also provides capacity for these higher end gross margin products, the medical foods and the therapeutics as well. And that's where we're definitely targeting getting in place those particular products, and then leveraging our diagnostic ecosystem as this key marketing tool to build the relationships with our partners, and to and not only them, their customers as well, and really secure that Carbiotix is sitting in this key position in this industry, this convergence of pharma and food, as we started with in this discussion.
Sounds very interesting, Kristofer. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Martin. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.